In this video, I want to talk to you guys about how to set up and configure your Cobb slip forms. I've had a lot of questions about the dimensions of the forms and how they should be set up together. So I'm going to show you a couple different options. And you can get pretty creative with how you set up your forms. Very much like with rammed earth forms, there's a lot of variation in the ways that people do it. But I'm going to show you probably 3 of the main ways that'll work for pretty much any situation or any budget. So the first situation I'm going to show you is a continuous form that goes all the way around the perimeter of the building. And that's what we have started here. So you'll see the dimensions of the forms. The lengths are going to be different for the interior and the exterior forms. You'll see that interior form is shorter, the exterior form is longer. And then as it wraps around, you'll see all the exterior outer forms are longer, the interior ones are shorter. And so all these forms were created specifically for this individual building. All the dimensions were cut for this particular project. So this is a great way to do it. It worked really well on this little prototype building here, mostly because it was such a small building though. So you have to take that into account. If you have a larger building, it might very much not be in your budget to create forms continuous around your whole building like this. It's going to take more money, more time to build the forms. This metal mesh isn't cheap, and these threaded bars and brackets aren't exactly cheap either. So you need to kind of put that all into your equation when deciding whether to do continuous forms or panels. So a couple other images here on the continuous form. I wanted to make a note here at corners where individual forms meet. You can just use screws to reinforce the corners. Just put screws through here. You can also see this bar clamp I have clamping these 2 sections together. Pretty much whatever works for you to keep the forms together tight. And here you'll see the result of using a continuous form. You're gonna do 1 layer all the way around the building, and it's going to be one completely monolithic layer. So you'll see as each lift is completed, the forms are moved up, and then you have this whole set of forms that moves up all together with the continuous set. So now let's look at panels. So there's a few different ways you can do this. If you have a lower budget, this is a good way to go about it, using a panel system. So you could build, for example, a panel like this. It could be 8 feet tall, or the entire height of your wall, and then whatever length you want it to be. And you would just have this 1 pair of forms, and you could just move that around your entire building, building 1 panel at a time. And so your wall would come out looking more like this, where you'd have these individual panels that you build 1 by 1. And you can integrate these in different ways. With the Cobb, a lot of the time, if you're following the code, you're going to have vertical rebar going up through these walls, connecting to a bond beam at the top. So you don't really need to have integrations horizontally between the panels. With rammed earth, and what you would do with Cobb too, which would be easy, is to have a little bit of a groove in 1 panel. So it'd be like a void here, and then that next panel would be created, and it would fill in that little void there, kind of like a horizontal Lego block. Now the other way you could do it is you could simply have a small panel like this, and you could just keep moving that around, making one block at a time. And this has been done historically for thousands of years. They've done rammed earth that way with just a single block form, moving it continuously. So that's a good way. That's a very low budget way to do it. It's also still very strong and very practical. So those are the three main ways to do the Slipform cob form setup configurations. If you guys have questions, leave them in the comment section, and I can make more videos on this if necessary. Thanks for watching.